are exploring the theme Rising Higher, Growing Deeper. And for the month of September, our focus is transient purpose, transcendent, there you go, transcendent purpose. And the title of our talk today is The Purpose That Surpasses All. And it will be given by our wonderful guest speaker, Reverend Melinda Jacobs. We are so glad that you took some time out of your day to join us. If you have any prayer requests or celebrations that you would like us to include later in our service, please feel free to put them in the chat, and Reverend Melinda will be sure to include those when she does our affirmative prayer, which we call spiritual mind treatment. All right, that's everything I have to say to kick things off. Take a deep breath. You're here. Sit back, relax, and enjoy our opening video. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be a service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly. And so it is. All right, folks. So let's do an official welcome for our guest speaker. If you are a regular at CSL Leesburg, then you know Reverend Melinda. She is a frequent speaker at our services, and she hosts the most incredible workshops. So a little plug, keep her name in mind and look for upcoming workshops from her. But let me tell you a little bit more about her if she's new to you. She is a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and she assists people through healing, going beyond past trauma. And she's an expert. She's been doing this for 15 years. So we are so thrilled to have Reverend Melinda with us. She's going to take us into our meditation, and then we'll have a little music, and then she'll come back just in time for our service. Here's Reverend Melinda.
Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Let's just take this time to turn inward, connecting with the breath. Just allowing the breath to be exactly as it is. Today, we're going to practice divine acceptance. Just a nice allowing. And just noticing if the breath is shallow. Maybe it's a little fast, maybe a little thin. maybe a little clenched. Notice your ability to bring awareness to what is and resist the need to change it at all. We're always so quick to hurry in and change what is without taking time to appreciate or even be present to. And just noticing how the body settles and softens. Rather than trying to relax the body, we practice this sacred accepting and allowing. As if the accepting and allowing is this container in which the body begins to settle on its own. No efforting. Like sand through an hourglass, just settling into this sacred moment. Allowing the busyness of the mind to be exactly as it is. And maybe you notice in a moment or two, even the mind follows the body and settles into that quieter place. It's in this way that we practice coming to that still space within us, where that inner calling, that inner voice lives and breathes and communicates. And find one thing that you can feel gratitude for. Grateful for the technology that allows us to come together in this way. Grateful for the dwelling in which protects your body. Grateful for the ease in which you can grab a glass of water. Grateful for your ability to connect to that spiritual presence that you are a part of. Grateful for these teachings that allow you to grow and be who you were called to be. Grateful for this beautiful community of CSL Leesburg. Just allowing yourself to be in that field, in that energy of gratitude. Just breathe it in, letting it fill every cell of your body. And finally, so grateful for yourself and for this day. So taking one more long, deep breath in, releasing the meditation, and bringing your awareness back into the room and opening your eyes. I know I'm supposed to be talking right now. There's something about that flute and Leah's presence and the magical space that it creates for us. Um, it's as if all the energy just parted and we just got to step into this magical sacred realm. And it's so, to me, it's so palpable. And it's almost like I don't want to move. I don't want to break the spell. So that's why I'm slow and I'm hesitating. And yes, we'll get into our talk. Hi, I'm Reverend Melinda Jacobs. I am joining you from beautiful Cottonwood, Arizona. Um, It's such an honor to be here. This is a special community, and I know I say that every time. And I don't know if you know me. I can't lie. It's just not in me. I am a truth seer. I'm a truth feeler, and I'm a truth speaker. And there is magic in this space. And this week we're talking about the purpose that surpasses all. And so I'm going to share with you an affirmation and either write this down or, etch it into your brain, put it on sticky notes everywhere. I live on purpose and in service to life. I live on purpose and in service to life. There's this beautiful reading today from Amanda Gorman from The Hill We Climb. And I watched her read this live, and I will do my best to give it as much justice as it deserves. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always justice. And yet the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country in a time where a skinny Black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our nation with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gaze, not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first. We must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true, that even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together victorious, not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promise to Glade, the hill we climb if only we dare. Amanda Gorman. So powerful. And again, these words just create this beautiful sacred space. It cuts through all the noise and all the chatter and the tension that's in the air. This week, we're talking about the purpose that surpasses all. And our science and mind principle that we're bringing into this conversation is that we're part of that sacred life, that we're one with it, that there's no separation and there's no one individual that is not part of this one, this whole, this life. And we have these amazing minds, and they get like river rocks, they get formed and they get directed in particular ways, and they get very habituated into seeing the world and perceiving the world in particular ways. And so we're really seeing outside of ourselves a world that when we stand back just doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know about you, but wow, this week rocked me. It was really tough to watch. If you follow me on social media, I did a very unedited, unfiltered, raw talk about my feelings about what was happening. And what it really came back to was this idea of this purpose that surpasses all, that there is this one life that we're here to live. when we're all living it in individual expressed ways, right? But from the substance of love, it comes forth. And I, for one, love these words from Amanda Gorman because she's talking spiritual principle without us really even realizing it. I think we get so indoctrinated to how Ernest talks that sometimes we might miss it. So I want you to hear this again. We close the divide because we know to put our future first. To put our future first means that we are visioning, that we are activating that understanding within us that we are creative beings. And by putting that future first and recognizing that we within ourselves hold the creative power to create universes, to create a business, to create a relationship, to create a human life, to create buildings and cities. To put our future first means that we have the power to envision something. That purpose that surpasses all speaks of this calling within us that is calling us forward into our future. She says we must first put our difference aside. Science of Mind talks about the denials. And this is for me, I will probably always say this in every single talk, it's sticky for me. It's a sticky thing to deny or to not pay attention to the contrast, as Abraham Hicks calls it. It's sticky for me because it's like, am I spiritually bypassing? And I'm just going to leave it to you. That's just a question I want you to ask. Am I really holding within myself true to honor myself? And this week, I really had to honor the grief that I was feeling. But to put our differences aside means that we are focusing our attention, our creative vision, our creative force and power on the fact that we're all one. We're letting go of the illusion that there is separation if we're going to put our differences aside. What a beautiful spiritual principle, what a beautiful practice to acknowledge this oneness that we have. And then we lay down our arms, our weapons, so we can reach out our arms to one another. Now, I don't own guns. I have a metal pipe. That's my weapon of choice. But my thoughts, my words, these can be strong weapons. We can lay down the internal noise and remember a deeper truth. Reverend Charlene has a very powerful course that starts today, and I am planning on signing up for it because I have a retreat at the end of this when this course ends. And it's all about this mystical self. A mystic knows truth. It's not a psychic intuition. It's not a feeling. It is tapping into universal truth and allowing the wisdom of the universe to drop directly in. I believe that Amanda, in these beautiful words, was speaking principle, and she was standing fully in her mysticism. We have to lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms, which means we act from a place of understanding and compassion. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. It's really tough. It's tough in this time when we see oppression and misuse of power and people suffering. How are we to rise in ourselves and extend compassion when we see hatred? That question has haunted me this week. And yet every day I refuse to give in. I refuse to give in and let the hurt and the anger and the helplessness take over. She says we seek harm to none and harmony for all. Ugh. And if we go back to remembering that we within ourselves in the reclusive little lives that we live in our little box houses, the thoughts that we have are creating the world that we're experiencing. And I really did question this week how many of my thoughts were really harmony and how many of them were really harmful to myself, to others. Oh, I have all sorts of thoughts about this belly fat that I've got going on in my body as my body changes. But to sit and criticize myself is not harmony. And certainly to sit in judgment of others, well, that's not harmony. And so Amanda is really creating this beautiful path just in these 3 points. Put aside your differences. Reach out your arms to one another. Harm to none, harmony for all. What a beautiful path to really practice that understanding that there is a purpose for us here in this moment. I believe, I'm a hypnotherapist, so I do a lot of past life regression. I believe that on some soul level, we chose this experience. We chose to come together as individuals. We chose to come together as groups and have this experience. And if this experience is not a powerful opportunity to practice these things, seeing oneness, practicing compassion and opening my arms and embracing myself, my body, others, to practice watching my thoughts, that they harm none, and that there is the end result is harmony for all. That's so powerful to me to recognize that there is this inner calling that, yeah, on some level, we chose to come and do this. And I know for all the people that I talk to around the world, I hear it so often. What was I thinking? Why would I choose this? Because, beloveds, because we have an opportunity to rise above. We have an opportunity in this pressure cooker that we're in to change. That calling within us pulls us into something greater. That internal calling, that calling, that purpose that surpasses all is really here like a heartbeat. It's as constant and it's in the background. And sometimes we hear it, sometimes we don't. But I guarantee you it's there saying there's something more. There's something greater. There's something bigger than this. And it has nothing to do with the number of likes or the number of views that you get on social media. It has nothing to do with the number of dollars in your bank account or the property that you own or the things that you have or the car that you drive or the cool 2 Bengal cats that you owned, Melinda. It has nothing to do with that. This inner calling is constantly this little tickle at the back of our hearts, at the back of our being, as Ernest Holmes says, at the back of it all, that's just gently nudging you forward, gently nudging you into something greater. And so when we recognize that there's a call, then we recognize then that maybe there's something that we could do to reach that higher way, that higher ground, right? And so there's practices that we have. Every spiritual practice we have takes us to a deeper truth. That's the life of the mystic. Is just these simple practices in our day-to-day mundane lives that interweave our spiritual knowing, our spiritual understanding into this interesting life that we've created as human beings. Reaching for higher ground doesn't mean you sit in meditation for hours. It doesn't mean that you've read all the great scriptures and the great books. It means that you understand what Amanda was talking about. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. It means you understand the power of your thought, that it holds a frequency and a vibration. And that vibration ripples out and affects everything and everyone. A mystic knows and understands that there's no separation. And a mystic lives that understanding. And so as they move about the day, they understand that every movement, every thought, every action has an impact. The illusion of separation it's such a glamour. I used to love to read vampire novels. And these vampires had this thing where they could glamour the people and put them in this trance. And the 3D world, the world of objects and material things, has got us in this glamour where we think it's real, but it's not. The deeper truth is that everything we do, everything we say impacts the whole of the world, of all of humanity, because we're interconnected. The purpose that passes all, that calling pulls us, and then we understand that there's practices to elevate us, to bring us more into balance, more into an authentic embodiment of ourselves as spiritual beings. How many of you, raise your hands, have lived on some level that you're really spiritual on Sunday mornings and then the rest of the week is pretty much not that? Anybody? I know I have. Or, there might be, it's this very compartmentalized thing. It's like, here I'm going to be really spiritual, but, that's probably not okay for these people, so I'm going to have to tone it down. I think that the time is calling us to let go of all of those divisions, all of those compartments, and be fully embodied. I don't think that living life as a mystic has anything to do with, the Gandalf robe and, you don't have to look really super different. I've always known I'm a mystic. And yet, as I deepen into my spiritual practice and bring it into how I pay the bills, how I feed my cats, how I say hello to a stranger, how I drive in town, how I welcome a stranger, that doesn't look in this idea of how a mystic should look. It's not someone living in a cave. It's just someone who's being kind. Someone who's opening their arms and embracing the person in front of them, right? As we live into this purpose that surpasses all, feel the call, and we reach up to that higher ground through these principles, we continue to ascend onward and upward. There's a quote somewhere in all of these notes. That's not it. Where'd it go? Here it is. I love this quote. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., from his famous speech, says, "Keep moving from this mountain." That was the speech. And he says, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. as mystics, as truth seekers, as people on a spiritual path, as human beings just trying to make it through the day, I think this is a really great recipe. This is a really good one. And for me, there were times this week where I just could barely get out of bed. I was just so heartbroken at what was happening in the world. But I got out of bed and I'm like, okay, what's the next inspired thing I can do? And it's the simple things that continue to move us forward. Again, remembering the truth of your being, to remember that you're not separate. As Amanda says, that we let go of the differences, right? The next inspired thing that I could do is I can make my bed. Like, I could clean up my space a little bit, and that felt a little better. And then I'd feel myself sink down. It's like, okay, what's the next inspired thing I could do? And and then each time, everything, it just pulled me forward and it just got me through the day. And by the end of the day, I had five, maybe seven things. I was like, wow, I'm really grateful that I did that. I'm really grateful for that moment, moment of connection that I had with the clerk in the store. I'm really grateful for the feedback that I got on one of my posts about remembering who we are, because someone said, "Wow, that just made my day." What is it, beloved, that you can do that just pulls you forward, that allows you to continue to recognize that there is a purpose living within you that surpasses all things, that there is a calling within you that is pulling you to be your very best? And if your very best is sitting in bed and crying, then do that and imagine the sacred and the divine wrapping around you and holding you. There it is again, that open arms. And if you're having a hard time opening your arms, then imagine an angel, the divine feminine, the divine, the universe just enfolding you and holding you and saying it's okay. The mystic within you knows truth, knows how to listen to that still small voice within. That mystic within you knows when you need to be cared for. And it knows that you're not separate from anything, that you can literally just do this, and that you can feel the cosmos enfolding you because there is no separation, and that you can feel so comforted to know that this little dust speck in the universe called Earth has a lot of chaos on it, but all this vastness and beauty and wonder of the cosmos is what you're really up to. We close the divide because we know to put our future first. Remember the power of your thoughts, beloveds. You're creating every time you have a thought, and every time you amplify that thought with a feeling. Put the differences aside. Remember, you're one with all things. Open your arms, reach out, and embrace that which is in front of you. And if it's just your belly fat, so be it. If it's something greater than you, wonderful. But go to the place where you can genuinely feel kindness and compassion beginning to open your heart. If you feel your heart closed, you took too big of a bite. Back up. Go smaller. Baby steps. Seek harm to none, because the outcome is harmony for all. Let's just go in and have a prayer. Oh, great Spirit, How wonderful it is to come together and remember the truth of our being. How wonderful it is to tap into that mystery and that wonder that lives right within our very being. How wonderful it is to be alive in this time and hold the wisdom that we hold, to know the truths that we know, to be the embodiment of life and love itself in the times of shade. How wonderful it is to remember that we are the beacons of life, the beacons of truth, that there is no separation, never has been, never will be. How wonderful it is to remember the deep truth of our being. And so, in this place of remembering, in this place of unified oneness, knowing there is no separation, what I know is true, the seeds that I plant through these words is that there is peace. And it is spreading and it is awakening the hearts of everyone on the planet. That in the times of strife, right there in the midst of it all, is the wisdom of spirit itself. That unmutable, unchangeable, unscalable truth permeating. Today, dear great wisdom, I open my heart and I welcome you in to inform my actions, to inform my thoughts, to guide me, and to amplify that internal call. I know that for those in strife and struggle and grief, that love enfolds them. I know that through the power of this time together, that the energy of the world itself has been made a little brighter, a little more vibrant as we celebrate life and love and the power and recognize the mystic within ourselves. I know that we live in a responsive universe that says yes, yes, and yes. And so I call in abundance, I call in peace, I call in harmony into myself, into my body, into my cells, and knowing it is amplifying and rippling it out in each and every one of us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The most powerful prayer there is. I am grateful for this time. I am grateful for this wisdom. I am grateful for the presence of the sacred, of the holy that comes in the form of this beautiful CSL community, that comes in form of Leah's beautiful voice and her beautiful talent through the flute, through Amanda Gorman's brilliant words, through each and every person who is tuning into this talk. I know that love heals all things and transcends all things. And so as we rest in gratitude, we release these words, knowing it's already done, knowing it's unfolding perfectly. We allow it to be. And together we say, and so it is.
We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the sky, it tells us. We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the sea, it tells us. We're here to be lifted in love. To listen to love as a flower raises its face to the sun. We are all one, here to be lifted in grace and love.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So, folks, I told you, right? I told you you were in for a treat today. Thank you so much, Reverend Melinda, for your powerful, powerful message. And yes, Leah's music always. It just connects, right? There's something about it connects with our vibration and it just raises us up. We are so blessed. So, folks, now is the time that we recognize and express our appreciation for the donations that you give us. You heard in our opening video that we believe in the law of circulation. As you give, so shall you receive. And the money that you give to CSL Leesburg just ripples out. It keeps going and going. It allows us to do what we do on Sundays, to bring in our guest speakers, to bring in our musicians, to even just send the message out to you. But also, we give money back to our home organization, Center for Spiritual Living, and we also tithe to organizations that are aligned with our vision of helping to create a world that works for everyone. You want to talk about purpose? There it is in a nutshell. So there are so many ways for you to give. I'm sure if you're a regular attendee at CSL Leesburg, you already found a way that works for you. But if not, take a look on the screen. And as always, we express our gratitude. Thank you so much for your donations. Now, please join me in the blessing of our gifts. There it is. Okay. Follow along and read with me. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I'm a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And so it is. Such powerful words. All right, folks, what announcements do we have for you today? So if you didn't pick up on a little hint that Reverend Melinda was giving us, we have a class that starts today, the mystical path, deepening your spiritual journey. And we're just going to look at some of the initial explorers in this field and also move ourselves further along on the mystical path. That will start today at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And if I know, Charlene, if you didn't sign up yet and you're going, oh my gosh, I meant to do that this week, I think she's going to let you in. So make sure that you join us. It's going to be so much fun. And it's also fun to travel on this journey through the classes with others who you see at former classes, who jump in, who come back. It's always a wonderful experience coming together. Sometimes what you get on Sundays just isn't enough and you want to take it further. This class is a great way to do that. Also, our foundations class, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. I was telling a colleague this week about this class and how much it has changed my life gradually from the first time I took it to the times that I've taught it as a practitioner with Reverend Charlene. Each time I get something out of that. It's almost like that movie, that favorite movie that you watch and you enjoyed it the first time, but every time you watch it, you see something else, you gain something else, some further insight. And that's how I feel about this class. Change your thinking, change your life. So that's going to start up next Saturday, September 20th. And again, it will be at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. If you're interested in these classes, just go to our website, CSL Leesburg, and look for the classes button, and that should do it. We also have a new member Sunday coming up in the near future, and we're going to be celebrating our 11th anniversary this month. So stay tuned for more details on that. All right, you heard me say in the beginning about I'm not sure where I was going with this. I was going to talk about putting prayer concerns and celebrations in the chat, but we've done that. Let's just talk about what we do after our service. So we do something called Pearls. I have a list of notes that I can't wait to share with Reverend Melinda. Little snippets, what she said today that really inspired me, that went into my journal. It's wonderful for our speakers to hear what really resonated with you. What would you like to question? What would you like to talk about? What would you like to explore further? And we do that in something that we call Pearls after service. We just kind of hang out. It's our virtual coffee hour, and we share great books, we share great movies, and we talk about the service, what really resonated with you. So if you can, please stay and join us. And if you can't, just hang on. We're going to do our closing affirmation. So here we go. Ready? You know what to do. And if you're a regular, you know I want you to unmute because I want to hear you. Thank you. I can see the screen. I can see who is unmuting. Thank you. Thank you. All right, here we go. You ready? The first one. It all begins with self-love. So here we go. I am
I
love.
am love.
I am love.
Guys, it's beautiful. How wonderful. There is no separation, like Reverend Melinda said. Now, with that in mind, we get to send this message. Think of someone who needs this message. It could be somebody who's in the room with you. It could be somebody who's far, far away because there is no separation. You send this message out and it travels. You ready? Here we go. You are love.
You are love.
Felt it.
You
I felt
are
it. I felt it. It's like a tsunami coming in the waves. All right, now we do one last one. Here we go.
Oh.
Put your arms up in the air. Give yourself a big hug. It's all
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 love.
love.
It's all-
Y'all love.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you can, please
Oh.
stay a little bit. We'll do our pearls. And then we're going to sign off temporarily so that we can grab a quick bite to eat because we're coming back for the Mystics Path class. How about you? Hope so. If not, we'll see you next Sunday.